Breaking news tonight from BWI Airport. 6 people are in a nearby hospital. 2 people were shot while sitting inside of a car earlier today. The flames took over the building and spread to neighbors. Now imagine going to the barber if your barber was Edward Scissorhands.
If you really take a deep look, you'll find some of America's history.
It could have been avoided just by looking at the sign. For those who can't go home, their hope leans on legal guardianship and adoption.
As opposed to a few dollars for a historic Black site per grave.
No dollars.
The cemetery right over my shoulder is a bit of a different story because they already knew they had bodies buried. They just didn't realize how many.
Police have been responding to a possible bomb threat since 9 p.m. tonight. They say animal cruelty could become non-existent, mainly because you're not actually raising the animals to slaughter them in the first place. Bria Martha Rodriguez checks into this federal building. She checks in with ICE every few months, and she's been doing it for 9 years, but this time's different. How do you feel?
Nerviosa. Muy nerviosa.
Nervous, she says. Rodriguez is an undocumented immigrant from Honduras. She lives with her 2 children in New Carrollton, Maryland. She came to the United States in 2005 illegally. She says she was seeking asylum from gangs and an abusive relationship. Rodriguez was hoping to have more time.
We have no good news.
But she didn't come out. She was detained until she can be sent back to Honduras. Once there, she'll have to wait 10 years to try to legally return. That's according to her lawyer.
I've never imagined that this would be happening at this country.
She told me in a previous interview that she would do whatever it takes to get back to her children, even if that means breaking the law.
This is what we stand for. Sanctuary in the broadest possible sense.
Not everyone agrees.
The system works. It's the same way everywhere in the world. What's the problem?
Rodriguez's case is not unique, and some may be asking why after 9 years had she not simply applied for citizenship. Well, it's not that easy. In Rodriguez's case, she needed to be living in the U.S. for at least 5 years with a green card that would give someone like Rodriguez permission to work and live in the U.S. She needed to be sponsored by a close relative, like her children. At this point, her daughter cannot help, despite being an American citizen, because she was too young.
But we're going to continue fighting for our community, for Marta.
We will not bow down. Marching on the polls. That's the theme of this year's Women's March on Washington. The goal is to get more women voting and running for public office. Last year, they estimated around 700,000 people joining in on the marching. This year, the crop was much smaller, but the spirit still rang strong down the National Mall.
In cities all across America, they're matching the same energy here in Washington, D.C. But a group of women say a lot of times they're left out of the conversation.
Black women! Respect Black women!
You can't do anything without engaging Black women. So I'm here representing us.
Yes.
I'm here representing racial justice, gender justice,
yes,
economic justice, social justice. I'm here as a Black lesbian woman.
And we think that our voices should be respected and elevated way more than they are.
This group is called Not Without Black Women.
And director of the group is speaking at the march.
Black women's issues need to be at the forefront in order for this country to move forward.
Many of the issues that are at the forefront of the march will affect women of any color, but these women believe Black communities oftentimes get the short end of the stick.
A range of statistics: housing, public health, the wage gap, which is highly a feminist issue, but we never desegregate all of the gaps.
They're trying to make other groups of people realize that their issues are everyone's issues.
If you talk about issues and how they affect women, you better be talking about how they affect Black women in particular.
I don't know where it came from. It was just wet and raining, and all of a sudden there was fog.
Slicing through dense fog, a stone figure stands tall, overlooking a nation.
Looks like this is the good place to have a little bit of solitude.
Donning raincoats and heavy hearts.
It's just beautiful.
Patches of people are gathering to recognize what one man is meaning for them.
We're at the Martin Luther King Memorial next to the tidal pool in Washington.
All eyes peering through.
This is mind-blowing.
Mystified.
On TV, it's like, but when you see it in real life, it's like amazing.
Even those not old enough to even remember when.
I feel like he's a soldier.
Martin Luther King Jr. is known for his hand in changing the course of history and fighting for equality.
If it wasn't for him, Black people like me and my brother, like we have to go to different fountains and stuff. Like we can't even go to the same restaurant with white people.
Gave us hope. for a time where there wasn't any.
Martin Luther King stands in the tradition of Americans who thought that we could be better than we act sometimes.
Many saying they feel like MLK wouldn't be happy with the progress being made.
I would think that he's proud of where we have came, but there's still a lot to work to be done, though.
He'd be pretty incensed that nobody seems to be listening to anybody else.
I think he would be very sad for all the work that he's done. We're almost still where he started.
Thoughts of the past swirling around the hard, smoky facade, just to be met with present realities.
You know, you can't see through the fog to get where you're going, and it's kind of reminiscent of the past, but we got to fight our way through the fog to get to the other side.
Bria White, WU.
Love you, Martin Luther King.